Incels, nationalists, Americans, we have won. We have won. Sean Strickland has overcome the Muslim invasion of the UFC octagon. He has defeated Khamzat Chimaev, taken his undefeated record, and he is now the champ again. Sean Strickland, two-time middleweight champion, and you love to see it. UFC 328 just wrapped up. Strickland defeated Chimaev by split decision in the main event, and what a good fight it was. Roller coaster of a fight. It was, excitement. It was, fear, especially that first round. So yeah, gonna break it down. So yeah, so the fight, great fight. Gonna round by round, and here we go. So round one, obviously Hamzat came out, shot a takedown within like what 15 seconds I think it was, and then got Sean Strickland down. Was just holding him down the whole time. There was some like close moments where Hamzat's arm was getting under Sean Strickland's chin, I think, and there was one real close like rear naked choke towards the end that Sean got out of. And that was kind of round one. It was like a easy, that kind of, we kind of knew that was going to happen. That's kind of Hamzat's whole thing. But Sean Strickland got out of it. Round two, Strickland got, or they came out, and towards the middle of the round, it was just the whole, like, obviously Strickland just does his jab and teep and stuff like that. And then it got to the point where, like, Strickland reversed Hamzat and then let him up it was just about halfway into the round. Hamzat shot another takedown, and then Hamzat like pulled guard after failing the shot and everyone was thinking, is he gassed? Is he injured? I thought maybe he was injured or something, but he wasn't obviously, but it just kind of looked like that. And then, Sean Strickland jumped on top of him, and then it was just Sean Strickland for round two, like on top, just kind of raining down some shots here and now. It was a bit kind of campy, a bit half guard campy from Strickland, but Strickland got round two, so it was 1-1. Third round, however, and at that point at the end of round two, everyone's thinking, right, is Sean Strickland just won the fight in round two? Like, is it just going to be the Strickland show for the rest of the fight? But it wasn't. Hamzat came back strong somehow. I thought he was going to be gassed for the next 3 rounds. I thought that was going to be it, but he made this kind of comeback. Hamzat started kind of really pushing Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland just doing the whole like jab teep, backing up stuff like that. But he was landing a lot with his jab. But Hamzat was like pushing forward. He was whiffing a lot of his shots though. He was advancing forward like most of the time. However, he was whiffing a lot of his shots. He was landing good right hands though, and it was really close. Like round three was close. Round three, four, and five were like really close rounds. However, I do think Strickland got a lot of. I think what was it? Round three, I believe, was Strickland's. Four and five are really close, especially five. I think five is like really close. So even though it was a split decision, because three, four, and five were like the same, it was pretty much just back and forward, or rather, I should say, Strickland backing up, Hamzat going forward, but Strickland still landing as he's going back and landing a couple right hands. Hamzat's just like doing this whole thing where he's going like that and just like landing. He was like winging wild shots, and they were really close. I need to watch the fight back to like fully look at it again, but I do think the rightful winner was chosen. I think Strickland on the statistics he did land like what I want to say like 133 significant strikes. Hamzat landed like 98 or something. That's what they showed on the broadcast. But yeah, in the split decision, I'm not mad with a split decision necessarily because it's like it did look really close. I'd watch it back again just to make sure, but it was a great fight. Great fight. Strickland. I wasn't live streaming at this time, but when Strickland got announced as the winner, I was like, I had my hands in my eyes, and I like as soon as Bruce Buffer said I knew, I'm like jumping up and down. I'm like yes, because although like yeah, it's like Hamzat's this beast and stuff like that. It's like Strickland just there's something different about having Strickland as this champ and. Strickland is one of and it goes to show after this kind of fight, it's like Strickland's one of the weirdest fighters in terms of his results. Like, so this time, or rather the first time, or rather, let me rephrase this. When Strickland's in a championship fight, it's always the fights you expect him to get absolutely mauled. He just does the best. You look at the Adesanya fight, everyone thought Adesanya was going to absolutely kill Strickland because Adesanya just came off the Pereira KO and Strickland was like, he'd lost to Pereira the year before that and he'd only won what? Who was it again? Abis Magomedov and Nasruddin Imavov. That was his two wins at the time, and obviously at that time, Nasruddin Imavov wasn't as big as the name he is now. So and then he comes out, beats Adesanya by decision, and everyone's like, "What? How the hell did he do that?" It was like a like a one in a million chance. And then he goes against Dricus, and everyone's like, he could be Dricus, he couldn't, but no one's expecting him to get mauled by Dricus, and he loses. So it's like he lost. He lost twice actually. And then this fight comes around, and I myself was saying that Strickland did not deserve this fight against Hamza. It should have been a Mavov. It should not have been Strickland. He was on a one fight win streak, and I wanted Strickland to win, but I just thought Hamza is probably gonna maul him like he does to everyone. He's undefeated. You can't really bet against him. And then Strickland just comes out and like wins. Like he gets off the submission attempts, the takedowns in the first round, and just then it's like just a pure striking match, which 9 times out of 10 Strickland's going to win. However, this was a close one. Hamzat did do well, having to come back from that second round performance, and it was close, but it is just so weird. It's weird to have Strickland as a champ again. It's like wake up, it's 2023, Strickland's champion, and it's beautiful. It is really weird. It's strange, but Strickland won, and at the end of the fight, if you heard on the broadcast, they put like or what was it? You could hear them next to the referee, like the microphones were there, and they were kind of saying, Strickland actually said, I'm sorry, and it's all that stuff. Which I thought was gonna happen. Like everyone's like, no, like how before in the press conference they were all like, we're gonna hate each other for life and stuff like that. You could kind of tell that. To be fair, I'm sure Strickland, a lot of things he said was true, or rather, he believed them to be true. So I'm not saying I believe them, no, but what Strickland said a lot of the time, maybe he does believe it, but he'll play it up for like the product for the UFC promotion and stuff like that. But then afterwards, it's like, yeah, you fight Hamza, it's a great fight, bloody back and forth war, and you're obviously gonna have respect. So no real like bad thing there with Strickland saying like, "Oh, I apologize. That's whatever. It's who cares." Plus, it was a good fight from Hamza. It was a good performance from him too. It wasn't bad. So you got to give him respect too. And what's next for Sean Strickland and Hamza? Sean Strickland, because I seen like on the broadcast, Joe Rogan was talking about rematch, and it's like I don't Hamza shouldn't get a rematch because even though the fight's exciting, you shouldn't get a rematch. I don't believe. I think no one was robbed. I don't think anyone was robbed per se. I don't think Hamzat was robbed, and he didn't have a single title defense. This was his first title defense, so he shouldn't get a rematch. There's no need to. The only argument is that he hasn't lost. He's exciting. He's a big name. So maybe the UFC do a rematch. Who knows? I have no idea. Because they'll do anything now. They put this fight before the Mavov fight, so the UFC will obviously do anything. So I think what should be next is Strickland versus Imavov 2. That will be a good rematch. A lot of story behind that. Imavov's coming up as a big name himself. I think that'll be a good one. Chimaev should be not Dricus 2. I don't think that plays out any differently. Maybe do a middleweight? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. One of the contenders anyway, but definitely Chimaev or definitely Strickland, Imavov 2. That's a certainty. Like they need to do that fight. That's the most obvious. Imavov is definitely deserved the title shot. So that should be next. And yeah, the event itself was great. The event itself was really good. The UFC 328. You had what was it? 3 finishes. Three finishes, 2 decisions. The co-main, the Joshua Van versus Tatsuro Taira was a great fight. Great fight. Joshua Van finishes Tatsuro Taira in round 5. Bit of an early stoppage, I'll say. I'll say that it was a bit of an early stoppage. Could have let it go on for another 5 seconds, but I've seen that ref. I've seen him before, but he's like, he's one of these kind of random refs that doesn't really have a name, like not like a Herb Dean or Matt Goddard or whatever. So there was that. Great fight from them. That should get the fight of the night probably. Actually, the main event can get the fight of the night. Who knows? It was a boat. Maybe Dana White does the thing where he just gives everyone a bonus, but who knows? So great for Joshua Van. He's going to fight Pantoja next, and that'll be a good fight. Van after saying like everyone's saying like he's the paper champ and Tatsuro Taira is going to beat him and stuff. he's really kind of solidified himself as the champ, or I guess you could say the interim champ. But not really, because I mean, Pantoja didn't want to lose his belt. He shouldn't have had paper bones that just break after one fall. But regardless, Volkov Acosta was whatever. Let me actually get up here. Volkov Acosta, that was an okay fight. It was a whatever. Volkov won. I'm happy. Sean Brady Buckley, good from Sean Brady. Just kind of dominated Buckley the whole time. Just basically, I really thought about that Justin Gaethje quote. If one man can hold you down, two can you. That's kind of what I was thinking that during the fight. Sean Brady is like a really good wrestler, though. He is like just sits on top. Joe Rogan said the thing in the broadcast where it's like when Sean Brady's on top of you, he's like a building on top of you because he's so heavy and because he's massive. He's like this short guy, but he's like bulky as hell. So good win for Sean Brady. And then Bobby Green gets a submission over Jeremy Stevens. The Unkoff between the hardest hitting 145 pounder, or I guess 155 pounder, against Kang Green, against Bobby Green. So good win from him. Yeah. So that was the card. That's the video. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. It really helps out. If you disagreed or have an opinion about anything I said in the video, please leave your comment below. Let me know what you think, and I will see you later. Bye.